With the eminent end of the Spanish regime amounting with about 333 years of colonization, the Filipinos was almost able to reach the freedom and sovereignty they thought for. But there will be numerous events before we can reach the true independence that the Filipino should. As we can move on from different historical periods, we will focus on the birth of Philippine independence, the Malolos Constitution, and the First Philippine Republic. Join us as we explore ourselves in the Philippine history.
Before we dive further in these specific events, let us know more the author, which is none other than Ambrosio Rian Zares Bautista Altamira. He also known as Don Bosham. He was born in December 7, 1830 in Biñan, Laguna. His parents Gregorio Enriquez Bautista and Silvestra Altamira. He attended preparatory school in Biñan and studied at this University of Santo Tomas. He then practiced law on Manila and offered free legal services to poor clients, which made him popular with the peasants. He became a member of propaganda movement like many intellectual Filipino participants, where he solicited funds for the campaign to be used for political reforms for the Filipinos.
On July 3, 1892, he became a part of La Liga Filipina, which was founded by Rizal in the house of Doroteo and Hulfo at Elias Street, Tondo, Manila. But this organization did not last long as Rizal was arrested 3 days after its foundation. During the dissolution of the Liga Filipina, Bautista became a prominent member of Cuerpo de Compromisarios, which was formed by conservative members which pledged to continue supporting the La Solidaridad with the radicals devoted themselves to the new secret society Katipunan.
When the Philippines Revolution broke out, he was imprisoned at Fort Santiago of his involvement in various patriotic organizations. But a brilliant lawyer took his case and he was released. He then went into hiding at Malabon and the authorities would not have the success of finding him. He also wrote for La Independencia, which was a nationalistic and very influential newspaper during the post-independence period, which first published on September 3, 1898. As Governor General Fernando Frame de Rivera proclaimed a general amnesty in accordance with the Pact of the Acta Bato, Bautista availed of it and returned to his hometown.
On May 9, 1898, Governor General Basilio Agustin institutes a policy of attraction aimed at dosing the tenor of the revolution. Bautista became one of the members of Consultative Assembly with the power of deliberate and give advice to Governor General. When Bautista learned that Aguinaldo had returned to Cavite on May 19, 1898, with the Hong Kong junta, he promptly went to see him to offer his service and then became his advisor, delivering that a constitution government would not be visible because of the turbulent conditions at that time. He advised Aguinaldo to establish a dictator regime instead. Subsequently, he was appointed Auditor General de Gara and was asked to give advice on proposed constitution prepared by Mariano Pons in Hong Kong.
After receiving the request, Doña Marcela Marino Agoncillo delegated her eldest daughter, 5-year-old Lorenza Marino Agoncillo, and Mrs. Delfina Herbosa Natividad, Dr. Jose Rizal niece by his sister Lucia, to help her make the first Philippine flag. On May 28, 1898, the Philippine flag was first unfurled after the Philippine Revolutionary Army defeated Spanish forces in the Battle of Alapan. During the session of Malolos Congress, Aguinaldo presented the symbols of the official flag. The red is symbolic of Filipino courage, which is second to none. The blue carries an allegorical meaning that all Filipino will prepare to die before submitting ourselves to the invaders. The white conveys the idea that the Filipinos know how to govern themselves. The sun it rains stirred up Filipinos and spread the light over the world. The stars represented the three major Philippine islands. The flag is more elaborate than the flag which is currently in use. It bears embroidered words, liberated justice, igualdad, meaning liberty, justice, and equality. And on the other side, Expedicionarias del Norte de Luzon, meaning Expeditionary Forces of the Northern Luzon.
The Act of Declaration of the Philippine Independence was written between May to June 1898 and was read by Ambrosio Bautista in Spanish and translated by Sulpicio Guevara. This was commissioned by Emilio Aguinaldo on August 1, 1898. It will be first ratified at Bacoor, Cavite and will be officially ratified by Malolos Congress on September 29, 1898. This was presented on June 12, 1898 around 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon at Aguinaldo's home at Kawit, Cavite. Along with it, the official of the Philippine flag along with Marcha Filipina Magdalo as the national anthem, which was composed by Julian Felipe and played by the San Francisco de Malabon marching band. The Declaration was a document which summarized the reason behind revolutions against Spanish, the War of Independence, and the future of new republic under Emilio Aguinaldo. The Declaration was also signed by 98 persons. The purpose of the document is to proclaim the sovereignty and independence of the Philippines under the colonial rule of the Spanish Empire. However, this declaration was never recognized by United States or Spain. Now let us take a look at the life of Felipe Gonzalez Calderon y Roca. He also known as the father of Malolos Constitution. He is born on April 4, 1868 at Santa Cruz de Malabon, Cavite to Jose Gonzalez Calderon and Manuela Roca. Calderon was the author of the Malolos Constitution, which was enacted on January 20, 1899 by the Malolos Congress that established the first Philippine Republic in 1899. Calderon founded two law universities. These are the Colegio de Abogados de Manila, School of Lawyers of Manila, and the Escuela de Derecho, School of Justice. He died on July 6, 1908 at the age of 40.
On June 18, Aguinaldo issued a decree formally establishing his dictatorial government. Apolinario Mabini opposed Aguinaldo's closest advisor, decision to establish autocracy on June 23. Aguinaldo issued another decree, this time replacing the dictatorial government with a revolutionary government. Along with this, was the legislative body, which is the Malolos Congress, where members were elected from June 23 to September 10, 1898. The Malolos Congress was opened on September 15, 1898 at Parasoain Church in Malolos, Bulacan. In the same event, a committee was selected to draft a constitution for the Republic on December 10, 1898. Spain ceded the Philippines to the United States in the 1898 Treaty of Paris that ended the Spanish-American War. After the promulgation of the Malolos Constitution on January 21, 1899, replacing the revolutionary government with the Philippine Republic, the Malolos Congress became the legislative branch of the government, designated in the Constitution as the Assembly Representatives. One of the most notable articles was the separation of the state and the church on February 4, 1899. The Battle of Manila stated when the shot fired by an American soldier signaled the start of the Philippine-American War on March 23, 1901. Aguinaldo was captured on April 19. He issued a proclamation of formal surrender to the United States, telling his followers to lay down their weapons and give up the fight.
The independence that the Filipinos are longing for would not be reached easily. Instead, it would restart again, but this time with a different colonizer. On July 1, 1902, Henry Allen Cooper's Philippine Organic Act, by the approval of coincident with the official end of the Philippine-American War. Next is the Philippine Autonomy Act of 1916, statute announcing the intention of the United States government to withdraw their sovereignty over the Philippine Island as soon as a stable government can be established, followed by the Philippine Commonwealth and Independence Act of 1934, wherein the U.S. statute provide the Philippine independence after 10 years transitional period of Commonwealth government. Following the end of the World War II, the United States granted independence to the Philippines on July 4, 1946, the Treaty of General Relations and Protocol.
As Filipino who are living today, it's our duty not only to study the past, but also to remember it, as it will help us to understand why things are made the way they are. Awareness at the history of our country does not only help us recognize the Philippine heroes who fought for our country, but it also gives us the idea on how they want our country to be. May we learn from this past and also move on from it so that we as country can move forward. Let us continue to expose ourselves in Philippine history.
In the intricate dance of economic governance, taxation takes center stage. It is the mechanism by which a government sustains public services and infrastructure. Yet, behind this fiscal curtain lies a critical concern: income inequality.
Taxation, the lifeblood of government revenue, is a process of the collecting funds to support essential product functions. From education to defense, it shaped the nation's destiny. But as economic scholars gauge, income inequality cast a shadow over societal harmony.
Economists employ the Gini coefficient, a mathematical expression to measure income inequality. Each range from 0 to 100%, 0 symbolizing perfect wealth distribution, while 100% marks acute inequality. The higher the quotient, the greater the divide.
In a society where the poor make up 57% of the population, addressing income inequality becomes imperative. The middle class, often the epicenter of discontent, yearns for equitable opportunities. History teaches us that societies with acute income gaps, with calls for social change, often led by the middle class.
This documentation sheds light on the persistent income inequality in the Philippines, dissecting its economic and social implication. Despite economic growth, wealth remains concentrated, depriving many of essential services. At the heart of this examination lies the taxation system. The call for progressive taxation echoes, seeking a fair distribution of tax burden. The proposal aims to narrow the wealth gap, but implementation poses challenges. Critics fear potential economic repercussions, suggesting it might deter investments. Proponents argue for its potential to foster equitable resource distribution.
Taxation, viewed as a tool for social justice, highlights the need for a balanced system to build trust. Proposed reforms include adjusting tax brackets, targeted exemptions, and stringent measures against tax evasion. Striking a balance between revenue generation and addressing income inequality is the ultimate goal.
Public perception plays a pivotal role in the success of taxation reforms. Views on fairness and government accountability shape the discourse. Building consensus and involving stakeholders become crucial for sustainable development.
As we navigate this complex terrain, the urgency to address income inequality becomes paramount. It requires a no-science approach, finding common ground that ensure both revenue generation and societal fairness. In the intricate dance of economic governance, let us strive for a balance that propels the Philippines towards sustainable development. Taxation and income inequality, ongoing saga with potential to reshape the
into the recent developments surrounding the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, and the implementation of the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, or CARP. The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, or CARP, has faced challenges including slow land distribution and inadequate support services, leading to protests and calls for reform. Allegations of corruption within the DAR have further fueled concerns. The DAR has formed a committee and a technical working group to draft the implementing rules and regulations, or IRRS, for the recently enacted Republic Act 11953, known as the New Agrarian Emancipation Act. Secretary Conrado Estrella III emphasizes the need for comprehensive IRRS within a tight 6-day deadline.
In a bid to address concerns of agrarian reform beneficiaries, ARBs, the DAR plans to establish condemnations quick response centers nationwide. These centers, equipped with legal experts, will assist ARVs in applying for debt forgiveness and amortization under RA or Republic Act 11953. The law, signed by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., condones all loans made by ARBs, supporting the government's goal of achieving food security.
Department of Agrarian Reform recent issue. DIR rolls out mobile debt condonation desk in Ilocos Norte on November 8, 2023, 10:06 a.m. A mobile condonation response desk is being rolled out in Ilocos Norte to assist around 149 agrarian reform beneficiaries, or also known as ARBS, in facilitating the condonation of their debts incurred decades ago. The team from Department of Agrarian Reform Ilocos Norte is examining documents submitted by farmers in Barangay Pasaling, Pagudpud, Ilocos Norte for the validation of land holdings subject to condonation of agrarian debt. The team is cross-checking information with the team from the Land Bank of the Philippines to ensure the insurance of a certificate of condonation to eligible beneficiaries. The new Agrarian Emancipation Act, or NAFA, condones all loans, including interest, penalties, and surcharges incurred by ARBS from land awarded to them under voluntary land transfer or direct payment schemes. The condonation covers an estimated 1.173 million hectares of land and an estimated 57.55 billion pesos in unpaid amortizations. Department of Agrarian Reform. The Department of Agrarian Reform is the lead government agency that holds and implements comprehensive and genuine agrarian reform, which actualizes an equitable land distribution, ownership, agricultural productivity, and tenural security for and with the tillers of the land towards the improvement of their quality of life.